you have a little unsolved murder in your home? Got some blackmail you want to unload? Are you the victim of some vulgar extortionist? Well, I know a gal you should meet. She may not be the greatest private eye in the world, and so what if it does cost you $300 or $400? She sure is sweet. She's Candy Matson. Like to meet her?
Yukon 2, 8209.
Candy Matson.
Well, I wasn't sure when I looked in the mirror this morning.
Had a rough night, eh?
Oh, there have been rougher ones. Look, voice, before you get caught with my receiver down, who are you and what do you want?
As to who I am, you'll find out very shortly. What I want is you.
Oh, how romantic. And over the phone yet.
Let me finish. What I want is you to lay off that cable car business.
Oh, that. Well, I'm afraid I can't. You see, I was sitting beside the man when they discovered his transfer had been punched, sort of permanently.
That's how things happen with me. I get into the craziest routines. You see, I used to be a model. I'd been told I had the proper displacement for such a career, but I found there wasn't enough money in it. And a girl has to eat, doesn't she? And she has to maintain a nice apartment on Telegraph Hill and buy enough clothes to highlight the displacement I mentioned, right? Sure. So I turned private eye. You meet a better class of people, mostly named Rigor or Mortis. Take this cable car deal, for instance. Like to hear how the whole thing happened? Well, let's get started then. I wanted to get downtown that morning, but I couldn't take the F car on Stockton. They were ripping up about 87 blocks, which is par for the course. So I walked down Telegraph Hill and up to Mason. That's where the Bay and Powell cable car stops.
All aboard! Come on, we gotta get to Fairmont by quitting time.
The car was loaded, and so was the character next to me. I tried to bunch into the seat between him and a Fisherman's Wharf dowager, but I couldn't quite make it. I'd forgotten my shoehorn.
Hey, say, pardon me, but did you mind moving your Wall Street Journal over that way? I kind of like to squeeze in here.
If you insist.
Oh, a knight of old.
He budged his hips about 1/4 of an inch, and I slipped in, ready for my rocket ride down the hill and down into town. The trip, as usual, was uneventful. 3 smashed fenders and several choice words I'd never heard before, but I wrote them down. By the time our prairie schooner reached the turntable at Market Street, the crowd in the car had thinned out. But Buster was still beside me, his head buried in common and preferred.
Market Street!
I started to get down.
Hey lady, take your boyfriend with you. We're heading back up the hill.
Boyfriend? I don't think so.
Well, how do you like that? He fell asleep over his stocks and bonds.
I looked again. Sir Galahad wasn't asleep. He was stone cold dead on Market Street. What a twist! I, who always went on the prowl for a whodunit, got one tossed into my lap, literally. You see, he just hadn't gone out of the world serene like. Oh no. There was a steady slurp, slurp of blood trickling down his vest, just north by northeast of the equator. After half an hour of questioning by homicide legmen, I knew my morning shopping tour was rained out. And after all, I was only going to buy an emerald clip to match the glint in my eye. Well, that would have to wait. I knew the next step, so I grabbed a cab home. I wasn't long in waiting. Right on cue. And if it wasn't the right cue, it would be Lieutenant Ray Mallard from headquarters, daintily pressing his cuticles against my apartment buzzer. I was right.
Right about what?
I've been expecting you, Mallard. Come on in. Sit down. Take off your hat.
Hey, Candy, the hat's off already, see?
Have a drink?
Yeah, I think I will, if you don't mind.
Here you are.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I've checked and I've rechecked, and no matter how many loose ends I tie together, I still get no connection between you and that Dwight Ellsworth guy.
Dwight who's worth?
Ellsworth. You get it? Your extremely limp traveling companion on the cable car this morning.
Oh, Mallard, I can give you an angle on that one.
Yeah?
Yeah. The angle being, I didn't know him from Euclid.
Level?
Straight. Oh, look, honeypot. This mediocre dialogue is getting us nowhere. What'd you haul your size 11s down here for anyway?
Well, frankly, Matson, I don't know. Oh, here. Fill it up, will ya? Here, take it. Fill it up.
Well, you're not just going around in circles, Mallard. You're going around in doubles.
Yeah.
I mean, wait.
Well, you know, Candy, like I said, you got a pretty view from here.
Oh, wait till I turn around.
Yeah, I mean from the window. Look at the ship down there that's just docking.
Where?
You see it? It's right down there. It's probably arriving from some Far East place. You know, I'll tell you, that's romance for you.
Oh, here's your drink.
Gee, thanks again.
You know, it is sort of romantic. Don't you think it'd be fun to jump on a tramp like that and whisk off to the South Seas?
Yeah.
On a honeymoon?
Oh, no. Hell no.
Oh, that's what I thought. South Seas, Mallard.
Don't call me Mallard, will you?
Well, why not? We're just playing for ducks here, aren't we?
Oh, very funny, Matson. I get it. Playing for ducks. Well, I'll tell you, Candy. No, we're not. Not in this case. We got us a dead man on our hands. Rudy toot, 3 times shot right through the heart. And you were just sitting right next to him.
Sure. Now get out of here. Go now.
What?
You heard me. Lift your hindquarters and get to headquarters.
Well, okay. But I'll tell you, Candy. I'll tell you. I don't like that look. You got something on your mind.
Yeah. But you wouldn't recognize it if I told you about it.
Look, one word of warning. Don't dabble. You're in deep enough. You got that, Candy? You got it?
Oh, get out of here. So long, Mallard. See you around the jailhouse sometime.
By faux fum, 'twas then I smelled a big fat fee. That great big kinda attractive Mallard missed the boat. Oh, he saw it, but he missed it. It was that ship he saw docking. That was the first time I came out of the dark since my giant dipper of a ride down the hill that morning. I needed help, so I called an old friend of mine, if you can call that help. Rembrandt Watson was his name. He was a photographer, among other things, and he spent most of his life in the darkroom, dabbling with bottles.
Rembrandt Watson speaking. Photography, portraits, camera work. Also available for gardening, janitorial service, and babysitting, especially if they're over 21.
Oh, Rembrandt, I know.
Candy, what are you calling me for? And by the way, you've got a heck of a nerve interrupting me because I've been experimenting with a new formula.
Now you're tuned in. 90 proof or 100?
Well, this one's 100, and it's working beautifully. As I'm sitting here right now looking into my living room, I can see a delightful little pixie sitting on my sofa. She's wearing a pink tutu.
Oh, leave her there and get over here immediately. Take a cab. I'll pay for it.
Well, in that case, I'll call for a handsome carriage and a brace of chestnuts.
You got 'em in your head. Now just do as I say and get over here. Float in, Rembrandt.
Where's your man to take me coat, gloves, and topper?
Oh, you're wearing a sport coat and slacks, and you know I have no man.
Therein lies your trouble, my dear. You have no man.
Oh, no, Rembrandt.
Every man should have a woman. Every woman should have a man. It's an incontrovertible law of the universe. Candy, you should have a man.
You?
Ha! I am no longer a man. I am a sprite transcending the universe.
Well, stop transcending a moment and come down to earth. We've got a job to do.
Oh, how poetic, how idyllic. We have a job to do. For money?
Eventually.
Oh, one of those. Okay, bring me up to date.
Well, I really don't know if I can or not.
Good. Then I shall leave and go back to my formula.
No. That's not what I meant. What I mean is, the whole story is so fantastic, but you won't believe it.
I might. Try me.
Well, I get on the cable car this morning and sit next to a character reading the Wall Street Journal.
Well, that's a strange combination. The Wall Street Journal on a cable car.
Yeah. And we get to the end of the line. My friend next to me is dead.
Well, the ride down the hill may have scared him to death.
He looked like a used punch board. A neat little bullet hole right through his heart.
Candy, my little ballerina friend is making more sense and is more believable than what you just told me.
Oh, I told you it was fantastic, but no, I didn't tell you how it happened. Sooner or later, Mallard is going to come out of his fog. And when he does, I'm going to be out of a fee.
A fee that so far does not exist, my pretty.
Oh, it will. It will if my hunch is right. Okay, now here's what I want you to do. Go down to the Chronicle, the morning newspaper, and get all the back files you can on Southern Island Steamship Company.
The Chronicle, a pleasure. I have some friends down there who have an interest in formula, just like me.
Oh, stay away from companions and just do as I ask.
Ah, very well. I go, but entirely against my will. And what will you be doing?
Well, down to the docks, Rembrandt. I've got some legwork to do.
Well, let me assure you, you have just the equipment for it. 2 of them.
What a joint. I'll bet they mount slit fish gullets on the walls instead of deer heads. Well, come on, Candy. Get your tools out and screw up your courage.
Yeah, miss, what'll it be?
Oh, nothing right now, except information.
Information and water are both free. What do you want to know?
Well, I'm looking for the purser off of Dwightsonia. I hear he does his shore duty here.
That's right, named Campbell. That head on the table over there belongs to him.
Thanks. Hello, sailor. Hey, Campbell, wake up.
Hey, leave me alone.
Oh, come on, snap out of it.
Who are you?
My name is Candy Matson. I want to ask you a question.
I'm only drinking. Just go away.
Not until I find out what I know. Dwight Ellsworth was murdered this morning.
What?
I thought that would bring you to.
That's the best news I've heard since VJ Day. What do you want to know?
Where does his brother live?
His brother? That stooge? He's got as much spine as a water eel.
Never mind. I want to find him. He seems to keep his whereabouts as secret as an atomic stock.
All right, he lives out in Seacliff, 25 Dassel Road. If you ask me, I think the whole family should be knocked off.
Bartender, buy my friend a little reward, and one for yourself too.
Thank you.
Well, so far, so good. Oh, how did I know about Campbell the purser? Well, I have quite a few friends in town, most of a type my Mallard doesn't approve. So after leaving that little watering hole, I grabbed a cab and navigated the driver out towards Seacliff. It was so foggy, I couldn't see the meter, but I paid him anyway and dismissed him. There it was, 25 Dassel Road, an austere-looking cabana, one that dared you to ring the front doorbell. I dared. I had the awful feeling I should have been around at the side door delivering hand laundry.
Good evening.
Except for the fog, yes. Is Mr. Ellsworth in?
Well, my husband is here, but I'm afraid this isn't a good time. There's been a death in the family.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm here.
Come in.
Thank you.
Walk this way.
Oh, I'm afraid I couldn't, even if I lived to be 100.
Mind your tongue, young lady. You're in the house of an Ellsworth.
Oh, hoity-toity. The old babe had delusions of grandeur. Well, no need to get uppity with me. I've mingled with royalty. Why, once I had 3 kings in the palm of my hand at the Silver Dollar in Reno. But this old gal was really something. She couldn't have been more than 45, yet looked like something out of the Barretts of Wimpole Street. She ushered me into a high-ceilinged living room, and there on the divan was my boy, his head lowered into his hands and quite obviously touched. Quite obviously.
Roger, this young lady is here to see you. I don't believe you mentioned your name.
Candy Matson.
You'll pardon me if I didn't seem hospitable, Miss Matson, but my brother was murdered.
I know. I was sitting right next to him when it happened.
You were?
Yes, Mr. Ellsworth.
You were?
Yes, Mrs. Ellsworth. I don't want to take much of your time, so I'll just come right to the point. You see, I'm a private detective. Put your nose back down, Mrs. Ellsworth. Let me make my proposition. Yes, I'm a private detective and I'm in a spot too. The police think that I'm connected to this case in some way, so I'm here for a double purpose.
I'm listening, Miss Matson.
Roger, I don't think you should be talking to this woman.
Oh, too late, Mrs. Ellsworth. Now, Mr. Ellsworth, I can find out who killed your brother, but it'll take some money. Give me a check now for $300 and I'll find the murderer and also clear myself.
Well, I don't know.
Well, naturally, you want to see the killer of your brother brought to justice. Don't you, Mr. Ellsworth?
Well,
Roger!
Don't you?
yes, of course. Here, I'll make a check out right away.
Thanks. Just make it out to Candy Matson payable today. Lovely collection of guns you have here. You hunt much?
Yes, the whole family is quite fond of shooting. Here you are.
Oh, thank you. I'll be in touch with you sometime tomorrow.
The missus didn't say another word. She just stood there against the fireplace and shot sparks through me. After I waved a check in the air a few times to dry the ink, she showed me the door.
Very clever, aren't you? Taking advantage of a weak-willed man.
I wonder who made him that way.
Don't cash that check. I mean it.
Mrs. Ellsworth, $300. I need the money badly. I need some new rolls for my player piano.
I buzzed back downtown. I wanted to cash that check in a hurry. I knew of only one person who would give me the crisp green at that hour of the night. Uncle Charlie, the honest miller who ran the chase room. Uncle Charlie, in the strict sense of the word, was a gentleman. So with a tender little pat on my cheek, he cashed the check, and I went up Telegraph Hill and home. All of a sudden, my eyes did a couple of inverted loops. All my lights were on.
Oh, who's there? All right, speak up. Who's there?
Candy, come on in and join our party.
Oh, Rembrandt, you gave me such a scare.
Yeah, and you don't scare easy, Candy, that's for sure.
And Mallard, how ducky, a midnight soiree. What goes on here?
Wow, the chicken in the icebox is delicious.
Yeah, it was delicious. Looks like you've done everything but eat the bones.
And your vintage, superb. Have a little formula?
No. Come on, what gives?
Hey, Candy, that's my line now. What gives, huh? Well, you're in on something, and I want to know all about it right now.
Oh, Mallard, believe me, it's nothing. I'm just trying to parlay a couple of hunches.
Yeah, some tall hunches, I bet. Yeah, look at all those clippings on the South Sea Island Steamship Company over there. What are they for?
I meant to tell you, I had remarkable success down at the Chronicle. There's everything you want to know about that steamship line.
Rembrandt, did you have to tell the whole world?
Candy, you chide me unnecessarily. I merely had the clippings out on the table when Hawkshaw here walked in on me.
Okay, now, Candy, you take it from there.
Well, nothing makes sense yet, Mallard. So there's nothing really to tell.
Really? Huh? Well, how about where were you tonight?
Oh, I was here and there.
Yeah, I knew it. I should have put a man right on you.
2 men would be better, I think.
2 days. That's all, Mallard. Just give me 2 days to tie off about 4 loose ends, and I think I'll have it worked out.
All right, Matson. But don't forget, the boys down in Candy Street headquarters don't love you the way I do. You know that, right? 2 days. No more, no less. Now I gotta go. And thanks for the foul, chicken.
I really don't know what you see in him.
Here, Rembrandt. Here's $50 for you.
50? My word. What's all this talk about a recession?
Go on, take it. Go someplace and stabilize the economy.
I went through the old newspaper clippings. It was all there. Fire at sea on Ellsworth's ship. 2 seamen lost near Honolulu. Ellsworth's ship loses rudder in storm. On and went over a period of 3 years. I threw the papers back on the table, helped myself to Rembrandt's formula, turned down the lights and went out on the porch. The bay was dark except for an occasional path of light from a passing freighter. I sat down to think. And then, click, click, just like that, 2 little tumblers in my mind fell into place. There was only one thing to do, and that was to do it the hard way. The next morning, just as the ferry building siren was announcing 8 o'clock to downtown San Francisco, I got Rembrandt on the phone.
Candy, what on earth are you calling me for at this hour?
Can't help it. There's work to be done.
I did my work last night. Very well, too, and now I am going to bed.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to have to delay your sack time. Meet me at the corner of Mason and Union in 10 minutes.
Now what are we going to do?
Car stops.
What are we going to do now?
We're going to take a cable car ride.
What? On one of those bouncy, junky little contraptions? I don't think so. Not the way I feel this morning.
Union and Mason, 10 minutes. All right, Rembrandt, get on.
This is the silliest thing you have ever done, Candy.
Maybe. We'll see. Dwight Ellsworth was already on the cable car when I got on here. He was alive.
How could you tell?
He mumbled something when I asked him to move over.
Well, that sounds logical, but I once stumbled onto a corpse who mumbled for hours.
Rembrandt was in one of his rambling moods, so I let him alone. The car pulled over Mason Street, down Washington, and then swung onto Powell and the Hill. Now I watched the buildings and apartments carefully. There was a little red brick building, now a big apartment house, a woman's residence club, and so on. Then over the hill and more apartments, and the possibilities petered out at Bush. Well, only one thing to do. Canvass all those blocks between Washington and Bush.
Okay, Rembrandt, get off the car.
You know, that was the strangest corpse I ever saw. What did you say, Candy?
Come on, get off the car.
Oh, now what? I just want to go to bed.
Oh, not for a long time, little boy blue. Now, here's the pitch. You take this building and I'll take the next. We'll alternate as we go along. And I want you to ask if a tall woman with a horsey face, dressed like Queen Victoria, ever lived around here.
Oh, Candy.
Oh, I know it sounds wild, but it's got to be done.
A horse with a tall face and dressed like what?
Rembrandt, look at me. Get that smoke out of your brain. A tall woman, horsey face, and dressed something like Queen Victoria. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, get going. Come on.
It was slow and tiresome, and the answers I got.
A tall gal dressed like Queen Victoria? Oh, sister.
That was about par.
No, nobody like that has ever lived here.
Are you positive?
A dame that fits that description? Yeah, I'm positive.
The morning wore on, and so did we. We were over on the other side of California Street now, so we stopped and had a bite to eat. I had pickles with mine, and Rembrandt had olives on toothpicks in a glass. And again, we picked up the hunt. My heart was suddenly making with a rumba. There, just on the other side of Clay, in front of a 3-story red brick house, was a police squad car. There was a little knot of people gathered around. I walked down the block and up the front steps. I didn't have any trouble finding the room. The door was wide open and there was a body on the floor. 4 representatives of the law were buzzing back and forth. One of the buzzees was Mallard.
Well, 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 if it ain't my little ambassador of violence, Miss Candy Matson. What is it you're always around here when there's somebody that's extremely dead, huh, Candy?
Oh, I've got no time to brandy the ad libs at Mallard. Who is it?
Don't know yet. No identification.
Let me go look.
Oh, a pen pal maybe?
Oh, I was right. I knew it.
Knew it? Knew what?
You're right. He was a pen pal. He wrote me a check last night for $300. His name is Roger Ellsworth.
Hey, what is it, huh? Open season on Ellsworth? Okay, Candy. Time you filled in the blanks. Go.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to look out the window here.
Oh, boy.
Mallard, there's a couple of younger Ellsworths living around town. I'm sure you'd like to see them stay healthy.
Yeah?
Well, get out to 25 Dashiell Road and pick up an old crone named Ellsworth. 5 will get you 20 that she's the one you're after.
All right. But you get yourself back to your place and you stay put, you hear? I want to have a more illuminating chat with you.
Oh, Mallard, I'm just like putty in your hands.
The moon was coming up over Diablo and spraying a path of silver on the bay. Still no Mallard. I wondered what could be wrong. This was it. This was the showdown.
Have you seen a tall Victorian face with a horsey dressed woman?
Oh, Rembrandt.
I am so mad at you. I could, what's the use?
Oh, what's the matter?
What's the matter? What's the matter, she says. I've been roving all over Powell Street all morning and ringing doorbells, and where did you go, you traitor?
Oh, Rembrandt, I'm sorry. In all the excitement, I forgot about you.
What excitement?
There's been another murder.
Well, in a moment, there's going to be another one, and I'm looking at you, Candy.
Oh, cool off, cool off. Have some formula and stop snorting steam. What was that?
It was your window. It's shattered.
Why? Why would Rembrandt get the lights?
What kind of silly game is this?
We're not playing a game, believe me. Hit the light switch now and duck behind the sofa. Now!
Candy! You all right?
Yes,
Yikes.
I'm all right. Where are you, Mallard?
I'm just 2 houses over. We got your girlfriend trapped on the roof right next to you. Don't move. Stay covered.
Okay.
All right, Mrs. Ellsworth. You coming down peacefully? Or do we have to play cops and robbers?
I'm not coming down till I get that Candy Matson.
All right, lady. Have it your way. Loosen up on her, boys. Go ahead.
This is better than the 4th of July.
Keep your head down, Rembrandt.
Oh, is that what was up?
You ready to come down now, Mrs. Ellsworth?
No, I'm not. That hateful woman, she's ruined all my plans with her snooping and prying. She's gonna die, I tell you. Oh, oh, oh!
It was a miracle, Candy, I'll tell you. You must have moved slightly just as she shot at you.
It was too close. Let me tell you. Is she dead?
She's deader than a doornail. I think she was dead before she hit the ground.
What happened?
Well, we went out to her house. And she was just about ready to drive off, you know. So we trailed her down to North Beach. We lost her for a block, and then Well, we spotted her car at the top of the hill here. We arrived just as she was getting on the roof next door. Okay, now, you tell me your little dream.
Well, it was that ship docking that set my wheels going. The name Ellsworth started burning in the back somewhere. You saw the clippings Rembrandt dug up.
Yeah.
Well, the South Sea Island steamship line was slowly being sabotaged. I did some checking and found that the insurance companies weren't going to renew.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't tie that in sooner.
Oh, it's just that you had too many things on your mind, Mallard.
Oh, Candy.
Well, I went out to the Ellsworth place looking for a fee. And when I left, I had a check for $300 and a line on the suspect. I was pretty sure that the old girl had knocked off her brother-in-law.
Yeah? Why were you so sure, Candy?
Well, for several reasons. One, she was a venomous old witch. Two, you've never seen such a collection of guns in all your life. And according to Roger Ellsworth, they both enjoyed using them. And I noticed one little pop gun that was really interesting. Had a silencer on it.
Uh-huh. You know, that was the one she used on you tonight.
Oh, and Dwight Ellsworth from the window of the apartment where her hubby turned up dead. When I examined the curtains, I saw a nice little bullet hole with burned powder all around it.
Now, don't tell me.
Yeah, I'm telling you. She rented that place, knowing that Dwight Ellsworth always took the same cable car. She waited that morning until we were riding by, and she popped him.
Now I've heard everything.
Not everything.
Yeah?
The reason? Dwight Ellsworth, rather than fighting the insurance company, he was going to sell the steamship line. The old gal thought she'd beat him to the punch by knocking him out. The company would then fall into her husband's hands.
Well, but what about her husband?
Well, at first, I thought he was just another distraught, weak-kneed man with an overbearing wife.
You know, Sea Cliff's full of them.
Rembrandt, please.
Well, it is.
Anyway, now I'm not so sure. Not when I think about that phone call.
What phone call was that, Candy?
Oh, just another little detail that had slipped my mind until now.
Yeah, sure, I bet.
You see, I got a phone call this morning telling me to lay off the case. And looking back on it, that call could only have been Roger Ellsworth. So despite all the boo-hoo-hoo tears, looks like he was in on it from the beginning. And then with me poking around, they got nervous. And at some point, the missus no longer trusted hubby and decided she was better off without him.
You know, Candy, it's the same old story. No honor among killers.
Yeah, somehow she lured him down to that place on Powell and gave him some lead poisoning too, planning to inherit the whole caboodle for herself. And to be sure she was safe, I was next on her list. I was in her sights.
But, you know, I don't get why Ellsworth paid you to look into something that he wanted to keep hush-hush.
Well, it would look suspicious if he refused to help find his brother's keeper, his killer. And I don't think he planned on me living long enough. And, you know, to scheme it out or cash the check. Then he cashed out first. thanks to his wife, who saved me the trouble.
Trouble?
If she hadn't killed him, I was going to.
Candy.
What?
Well, while I was waiting for you to get here, the phone rang. It was Uncle Charlie at the Chase Room. Roger Ellsworth check bounced like a brand new gold.
Oh, God. Oh.
What's so funny?
Oh, well, folks, listen in again to the adventures of Candy Matson, girl sucker.
Tonight's episode of Candy Matson, the Cable Car Murder was originally broadcast July 7th, 1949. Appearing as the title character of Candy Matson was Maria von Brinken. The voice in Candy's head was played by Linda Blair Vinalia. Rick Candy was Lieutenant Ray Mallard and David Barkman was Rembrandt Watson. Appearing as Roger Ellsworth was Melina Huntley, and Mrs. Ellsworth was Rose Villani. Taking on both roles of the cable car operator and the bartender were Laurie Zuroff. And the victim, Dwight Ellsworth and Campbell, were voiced by Cassiopeia Van Kalen. The announcer and producer of this evening's broadcast was Mark Hebert. Tonight's musical score was composed by Ms. Rachel Lee. We want to thank you for tuning in for another production of the WWHR Radio Theater.
Bravo, bravo.